because, you know, an Igbo man was there, and they looked at the government and they said Igbos were dominating everywhere. This is a country where a boy from Anambra will score over 300 in JAMB examination. He will not get admission. Somebody will score 100 from KB State. He will enter university, and then before you know it, he will end up as a permanent secretary or as a Supreme Court judge.
Right. All right.
So guys, Dr. Abati has warned that Tinubu's action might instigate another civil war. That the behavior Tinubu is exhibiting in his government was actually what led to the civil war. That is marginalization of the Igbos in Tinubu's government. As report shows that the number of Southeasterners in Tinubu's government, you know, is the least. I mean, people from the Southeast are the least in Tinubu's government. The same thing that Buhari did. Buhari almost removed the Southeasterners in his government, and the Southeast did not benefit anything in his government. The same thing the Tinubu's government is doing now. Appointments are just for the Yorubas, and it's also favoring some of the Northerners. The Igbos are almost left behind. This is coming at a time when this headline says 2027 Southeast elders root for Tinubu's re-election. This was yesterday's headline, as another headline equally said, APC in Abia State are already supporting Tinubu for 2027. So guys, the government of the Tinubu's leadership is not favorable to the Igbos, and then the Igbo elders are already vouching for Tinubu to come back in 2027. I'm just wondering who these elders are. This is coming at a time when, if you are an IPOB member, you will be seen as a terrorist. But the real terrorists from the north are being granted pardon. So guys, I'm going to allow you just take a look at what Dr. Abati has said. Like you heard him say that if somebody from the south scores 300 in JAM, the person will be denied some courses, you know. But if you score 100, you will easily get that course in the north. This is how they are marginalizing the Igbos. A whole lot is happening. I'm just wondering why this hatred for the Igbos. I can't just believe it, you know. Why the hatred? Look at how people have been spied across the nation. From the north, we have all these terror groups spying people, including the military. They've not arrested them. They've not, you know, tried them. They've not pronounced them as terrorists. But if a Southeasterner is being suspected to be an IPOB member, he or she will be arrested and taken to the camp in Niger State. So guys, let me just allow you to take a look at this video. Watch it for yourself and let me know your honest reaction in the comment section below. Just take a look.
The controversy surrounding President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's appointments has taken center stage in social discourse. Tinubu's appointments have been criticized for allegedly favoring his tribesmen and women over other Nigerians. Last week, Senator Ali Ndume, an APC lawmaker, publicly accused the president of violating the federal character principle in his appointments. Well, in response to these allegations, the presidency released a list of appointees and their geopolitical zones, revealing a notable underrepresentation of the Southeast and a significant number of appointments from the Southwest, the president's home region. However, critics pointed out that the list was incomplete. Notably missing was the president's chief of staff, Femi Gbajabiamila. Well, in response, Sunday Dare, the president's special advisor on media and public communication, apologized for the errors in the list and promised an updated version. Remember, I know that you saw this Sunday Dare's tweet that was trending. I believe that he has deleted it. Let me just read some part of the tweet that he put out, because he also, you know, published the lists as well with this tweet. Sunday Dare wrote, President Tinubu and appointments. On this issue of appointments by the Tinubu administration, it is important to state that President Bola Tinubu is a detribalized leader. His antecedents before he even became president speak to this fact. As Lagos governor, President Tinubu populated his government with competent hands, both from within and outside Lagos, not minding which tribe you come from. People tend to isolate new appointments so far made by the president to examine them with a tribal lens, but it's too early to conclude that appointments are lopsided. Tinubu has barely completed 2 years in office. There are plenty more appointments still coming. Well, Sunday Diary, we are still waiting for that list. But let me just, reel out, the numbers of the list that he had published. According to the geopolitical zone, I believe there were about 29 from the southwest. As well, then we saw 25 people from the north central, 24 from northeast, 35 from northwest, 22 from south-south, and 15 from the southeast. We saw that, that was some of the outrage we saw. Because it did show that, some sort of lopsidedness. But I saw a lot of people from the northwest Vimbai. In the meantime, before I come to you, a report from the Sun newspaper claims that the federal government has decided to disregard the 70-30% ratio for career diplomats and political appointees in the recent list of ambassadorial nominees. The report quoted a source from within the ministry, stating that the list is currently undergoing screening by security agencies or political figures, such as former senator representing Kaduna Central, Shehu Sani, former aviation minister Femi Fani-Kayode, and former presidential aide Reno Omokri have been reported in the media as part of the nominees undergoing screening. I believe that they said that the source also expressed concern that the move prioritizes political interest over career expectations of diplomats, potentially leading to inadequate representation for the country. That is the source from, the Sun newspaper quoting. We did see those names. Yeah. They are not verified, but we saw those names and people are screaming, Reno Omokri, Femi Fani-Kayode, and all of that. Your thoughts on the stories?
Well, there's a lot to unpack, but let's begin with the issue of federal character that we touched on earlier in the program. And I think all of this is about, shall we call it empowerment? Because when you look at it's about trying to create representation. So the principle of federal character is about ensuring that there is fairness in the representation of every geopolitical zone when it comes to the decision-making bodies of this country. Of course, we know the antithesis of this is where we are coming from. We are coming from a place where there has been disunity, where there's been marginalization. Various groups feel that way. So this is something that was supposed to bring everybody to the table, create unity, and create a sense of inclusion for all involved. Now, this particular issue raised by Senator Alin Dume, he's not the first person to raise this issue. This has been raised several times in the past. And of course, when you look at the list, people are saying that this particular tribe, the Yoruba tribe, is dominant. So even if you break it up and you say Southwest and so forth, Southwest and into the various geopolitical zones, they're saying that, well, the majority there are still Yoruba. That's number one. Number two is that there were a number of names missing. From there, I believe the most recent appointments from NNPC were not reflected there. There's a number of names that people are saying, like you said, Femi Gbajabiamila was not there. Yes. So how can we say that this is a robust list of the political appointments that have been made? Now, I understand the strategy at play, because when former President Buhari was criticized of the same thing, his advisors also did the same thing. They released a list that stated each of the geopolitical zones represented. Now, in all fairness to him, when we looked at that, because remember President Buhari was often accused of always prioritizing the north, the north, the north. But when you look at the breakdown, it was distributed across different tribes in the north. Is that a justification? Well, that's one of the arguments. But for this, people are saying that we now wait for the final list, because this was supposed to vindicate you, but it seems you now created more hot soup for yourselves. People have the statistics. Let's see what they will share for us now. 2 years down the line, federal character is supposed to be implemented from the beginning. Another challenge is the fact that federal quota in and of itself, federal character, is not a quota. So the Constitution doesn't say that this is the number of people that has to represent each place. It speaks of fairness. So maybe that's something that needs to be looked into until we get to a place where there can be that equality in representation. Now, 2 years without ambassadors is absolutely just shocking. Yesterday there was some criticism around around, not just yesterday, throughout this week, there's been criticism around the president being in France for a working visit, and the fact that we don't even have an ambassador there, and then reports saying that, well, the French president himself is actually not in France at the moment. He's here somewhere in Africa attending to some business. And we just ask ourselves all of this in the absence, who is representing Nigeria? Who is holding fort for the nation at the moment, where the world is at a massive precipice? Conversations are being had. Diplomacy is what's leading right now. But we don't have anybody to represent us in these high-level conversations at the moment. So many things to unpack there.
We are waiting for Sunday Diary's updated list. This representation that we are asking for. And we are seeing this story from the Sun newspaper. Your thoughts?
So see, this is my mindset as regards federal character. It should not just be about where you are from. It should also be about the competence of the individual. And if you look hard enough, across every area, over 774 local government areas in this country, we have competent people, we have standard people. The accusation that I've also made is the fact that, see, it's tilted more towards the Yoruba tribe. I'm a Yoruba man, I'm telling you this. And I want a level of fairness. See, you will look at that list and you'll see a lot of North Central. Like some of these NNPC appointments recently made, they will claim they're from North Central, but they're from Yoruba ethnic group. And that's just what it has become. When people start to have that perception that, oh, it's a Yoruba government, that's not fair. And a leader must absolve themselves from all of this. See, let's go back to the Civil War. These were exactly the concerns during the Civil War. Federal character has always been a big issue. We all even set up a Federal Character Commission. We must be able to have a level of balancing, and that must start from the perspective of the leader. The leader must be able to incorporate many parts. It has to be said. Please correct me if I'm wrong. During Olusegun Obasanjo's time, did we ever have a need to say it was a Yoruba-based government? No. In fact, the accusation against Olusegun Obasanjo there was that it was a Southeast government, an Igbo government, because he embraced a lot of people from the Southeast. So that's what we are talking about. And you see, I do not like the vituperations and the jerking reactions from the presidency, because when you make any comment, they think you are attacking them. No, we want the best for the country.
Right.
They should stop this constant case of Jakboroism. Jakboro fidgeting.
What does it mean?
Jakboro means you wiggle. You are so quick to respond. No. And Ali Ndume was apt when he said, we know that their foot soldiers are going to come at me.
Yeah.
So please, let us remove that. Secondly, I have not gotten the empirical list. I don't want to comment based on not having empirical facts.
All right.
But if the feelers I'm hearing as regards the quality of persons being considered for ambassadorial position, Nigeria has become a joke.
All right.
It is dancing wiggle, 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 wiggle.
All right, Rufai, you and your words. But you know, my dad asked me once to ask you, Rufai. You said Werekpe. What is Werekpe? He wants to know.
Means
Werekpe. When you criticize them, it affects them like Werekpe. Dr. Abati, your thoughts?
Look, what we're dealing with is a problem at the heart of the Nigerian national question.
Yes.
It speaks to the fact that we're not yet a nation. We're a country whereby everything is looked at from the prism of religion and ethnicity. Every Nigerian that gets to power at the center plays the politics of proximity, plays the politics of what Matthew Kuka calls the Maronization of power, and does not also feel safe with people from other parts of Nigeria. You want your own people, thinking that your own people are the ones that will make you safe. That's why, go and check. When they appoint a chief security officer, ADC and all that, they usually pick people from their areas. So, and this problem has been there. It was part of the reason for the Civil War. Decree number 34 of 1966, the Unification Decree introduced by Ononsi. people say, oh, this was supposed to help Igbos because, you know, an Igbo man was there, and they looked at the government and they said Igbos were dominating everywhere. We have not recovered from that root cause in this country. That's why I have argued elsewhere that this federal character that we're talking about, yes, there is the whole purpose under Section 14, sub 3 of the Constitution is about equity, fairness,
that's it,
diversity.
That's it.
But also, there should be an emphasis on competence, ability. The president of Nigeria, in dispensing patronage, I said over 5,000 positions that can be dispensed by the federal government of Nigeria. It is up to the president to make sure that there is fairness, equity. But should we get to a point in this country, that's the question, when we should say there should be meritocracy?
Yes.
I'm sitting here, you know, wasting volumes of saliva every day. But in this same country, you have touts in important positions. You have Division 3 persons in important positions.
Yeah, I was told Agbero is tout. Agbero.
No, my definition yesterday, I said street tax collectors.
Yeah, no, this is a tout.
I said.
Touts are street tax collectors.
No, well, I didn't use the word tout. I said street tax collectors.
Go ahead.
That's the elegant that I used. You know, so this is this country where you have Division 3 people in important positions, you know, just because they have godfathers, just because they come from a particular part of the country. This is a country where a boy from Anambra will score over 300 in JAMB examination. He will not get admission. Somebody will score 100 from Kebbi State. He will enter university, and then before you know it, he will end up as a permanent secretary or as a Supreme Court judge.
Right. All right.
No, that kind of thing does not, you know, go well for national development. This is the question. We have to return to that conversation when we merit matter in Nigeria.
Well said. We are appealing for meritocracy. Meritocracy, really. Shall we head over to Anambra State now, highlighting this amateur video which captures the deteriorating condition of Uwaka Bridge in Nnewi. The eyewitness in the video is calling on the governor of the state, Charles Chukwuma Soludo, to urgently intervene, especially with the onset of the rainy season. Let's take a look.
Governor Soludo, Your Excellency, the community is completely cut off. Every caterpillar ever, a very slow walk. Now, this time around, the villagers are cut off. The community is cut off from their access roads. This place is completely cut off. Nothing is happening here. More water is still coming. Look at it.
I thought I should highlight this video for the governor. I mean, raining season is coming, and we did highlight that, you know, they've mentioned a couple of states that are flood prone. Meanwhile, we'll take a look now at a story from Nigeria. On Thursday, the National Broadcasting Commission prohibited Nigerian radio and television stations from airing Idris Abdulkarim's new song titled Tell Your Papa, which was released on Monday this week. In the song, the rapper criticized President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's economic policies, accusing him of making too many empty promises. He also called on President Tinubu's son, Sheikh Tinubu, to convey the hardships faced by Nigerians to his father. The NBC, in a memo, stated that the song was deemed to violate Section 318 of the Nigeria Broadcasting Code and advised various stations to exercise discretion and refrain from airing the music to maintain responsible broadcasting standards, adding that it considered the song's content to be inappropriate and objectionable. Dr. Abati, I mean, Abdulkarim again is back in the news. We know that his previous song, I believe it's Nigeria Jaga Jaga, was banned, you know, by radio during President Olusegun Obasanjo's reign in 2004. Now we are seeing almost the same, you know, sort of ban coming on his song. But we know that that Jaga Jaga became some sort of anthem after that ban.
Okay, censorship has been one of the major problems that artists have faced in the world in the past. Even Copernicus was censored. Even, you know, other writers were censored including the man that created the Protestant movement and all of that. So many books, so many songs in history that were banned and burnt. But many of those, artistic works have been revealed to be works that contain truths, that told the truths about the world. Even Galileo Galilei, when he said that the world was round and not flat, it was, sanctioned. Even Cicero had his tongue pulled out of his mouth because they said he was saying things that were not acceptable, not fit to be broadcast, and that he didn't exercise discretion. I use the word not fit to be broadcast because that's what section 3.1.8 of the Nigeria National Broadcasting Code of Nigeria is relying upon. Now, here, we're dealing first with censorship and the futility of it, and the abrogation, the abbreviation of the right to freedom of expression under Section 39 of the Nigerian Constitution. In the United States, they will call it the First Amendment. Now, the NBC operationalizes a subsidiary regulation. Are we dealing here with overreach on the part of the National Broadcasting Commission? There have been issues about the current extant NBC code and how they arrived at some of those provisions in that code. Now, the discretion that they are talking about, that should also be a question that the people running the National Broadcasting Code should ask themselves about the quality of their discretion, about the quality of the maturity that they bring to the work. But that's another question for another day. But we see censorship as a form of dictatorship. And the Tinubu administration must resist dictatorship, particularly with the freedom of the imagination, with the freedom of the artist. Second, this is not the first time that Abdul Karim will face this kind of situation. In 2004, that was when he released Jaga Jaga, Nigeria Scatter Scatter. Even President Obasanjo directly attacked him because of that. I think that particular song was also sanctioned. But the limits of censorship is that when you censor something, when you ban something, you can even promote it. Nigeria Jaga Jaga, Nigeria Scatter Scatter became almost a national anthem, in spite of the ban in 2004. In 2024, this same Idris Abdul Karim released a song titled Emilokon, in which he criticized President Tinubu. And now he has released this one, say, Tell Your Papa, in which he is sending Sheyi Tinubu to his father to say, look, Nigeria is not okay, people are hungry, people are this and that. What the NBC has done, by banning people, by misapplying and misinterpreting Section 39 of the Constitution, is that people now will begin to go and look for this song.
Yes.
What we teach students in the field is about how you can use song as satire. So I think that this is a satirical song, and many Nigerians may now have been motivated by the National Broadcasting Commission to go and look for it, to find out satire. So banning things, banning knowledge, banning expression did not work in the 12th century. It did not work in the 13th century. It did not work in the 19th century. It's not likely to work now.
All right. Well said. The governor of Anambra State, Chukwuma Soludo, has reiterated his commitment to clamping down on those promoting get-rich-quick charms, renewing his stance on the ban of native doctors, speaking while addressing a group of All Progressives Congress members on Wednesday. The governor narrated how 23 indigents of the state are now on death row in Indonesia due to drug-related offenses. He claimed that the arrest was connected to native doctors' deceptive practices. Dr. Abati, you weren't here when we discussed this native doctor ban in Anambra State, and that's why I brought it back, really. I mean, you can hear Charles Chukwuma Soludo here saying that 23 people in Indonesia are, on death row, and saying that, these people will bring charms, and then when they bring these charms, they tell these drug peddlers that, you can go through the security without being noticed. What are your thoughts on the ban on, really quickly, native doctor charms, so we can take our good news report?
Let me start by congratulating Governor Soludo,
yes,
who has been given the ticket for a second term on the platform of APGA, the dominant party in Anambra State.
APGA.
Yes, in the election that is coming up in November. Now, Governor Soludo, the basic point that he's making is about moral rearmament.
Yes.
In this society. What he's saying is about this get-rich quick mentality among young people, this instant gratification episode that we have that is a problem to the development process in Nigeria. And he is saying that hard work pays. Voodooism does not pay. And he's saying that these native doctors are the ones who are promoting this idea. They call it okuite. I think it's okuite, money ritual.
Yes.
And that a lot of people in his environment, in Anambra State, maybe in the southeast, are going for okuite. They want to get rich quick. And he says, look, the kind of government that he wants to run is a government that emphasizes hard work and talent.
Yes.
And I think that that is a very important message.
Yes.
And it's also important that each time he makes this point, he says it's not against traditional religion.
Okay. Yes.
It's not about traditional.
Yes.
The Constitution allows the freedom of religion, freedom of belief. What is opposing is charlatanism.
Charlatanism, and I said that the last time.
Which Professor Wole Soyinka has already dramatized in the trials of Brother Jero. So many charlatans hiding under witchcraft, voodooism, magic, which is an offense, by the way, under the criminal code.
Yes.
And he's saying, live a very honest life. And I think in that regard, you cannot fortune. In fact, he was also talking about noise making. People going to the market, making noise in the name of religion.
Well,
no.
What can we say?
He says, live a decent life.
Well said.
And live well.
Well said. Kudos to Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo on all accounts. We'll take our good news report now. In the United States, highlighting a proud moment for Nigeria on the global stage. Two of the country's cultural giants, Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, and African art icon Chief Nike Okundaye, have been honored by the United States government through the Pennsylvania House of Representatives and Senate. The honors were bestowed at the unveiling of the African Cultural Festival 2025 held at the Pennsylvania State Capitol. Both icons were recognized for their outstanding contributions to literature and art, not just in Nigeria, but across the globe. Let's take a look.
Professor Soyinka, who recently turned 90 years old, is the first African recipient of the Nobel Prize in Literature. Professor Soyinka's legacy of advocacy, academic excellence, and commitment to democracy has influenced generations, reinforcing the power of words to effect meaningful change. With him this morning are Ms. Phyllis Bennett and members of the Nigerian delegation. Please stand. Welcome to the floor of the House.
All right, this just gave me goosebumps. Bravo to both icons. I mean, only recently, Nike was honored as a Queen of Adire in Osun State. Chief Nike, I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on what's trending. Really proud moment for Nigeria. Congratulations, Professor Wole Soyinka and Chief Nike Okundaye. Well, that's all I have for you guys on what's trending today. I'll see you all next week.
So guys, Dr. Abati has warned that excluding the Igbos from the Tinubu's government might lead to another civil war. He's saying that this was actually what instigated the civil war, the marginalization of the Igbos, and that is exactly what Tinubu is still, doing now that he is the president of Nigeria. As a list that was published by the Tinubu's government on, allocations when it comes to, people Tinubu appointed in his government, it was noticed that the Southeast was the least. The Southeast was the least. This was the same thing that the Buhari's government did, Now, when people begin to agitate that they want Biafra, they will term them terrorists. But when people begin to buy others, they would say that they are granting them pardon. That's to tell you what the Igbos are facing in this country. Now, I saw this headline where it is being said that Igbo leaders, Igbo elders are supporting Tinubu for 2027. I'm just like wondering if we even have Igbo elders. Do we have elders that really speak for the Igbos? Do we have elders that have the interests of the Igbo youths at heart? That's the question. When they say these elders, you keep wondering who are these elders they are talking about. So guys, you can see all what we are saying about leadership in this country. When you look at the way things are being done in this country, like Showore once said, it is a federal government thing, that there is a plan against the Igbos. No matter who comes in, there is a plan that says, hold the Igbos down, don't let them. Because if you leave them, they have this domineering spirit. They want to overrule. They want to overtake. They want to be more. They will become more prosperous. They will become more rich. Hold the Igbos down. That is why you see that the level of support people like Dangote get, an Igbo man can never get it. If you check, Igbo businesses have been targeted, multiple times, many times. Igbos have been victimized on several notes in this country. The Igbos have suffered a lot, and it does not mean anything to all these politicians. And they will tell you, you should sacrifice, we are one Nigeria. The one Nigeria they tell us is just in the mouth. There is nothing about one Nigeria in this country. The way the Igbos are being treated, you will know that these people are out for something else. It does not even concern them the way the Igbos are being taken. And I'm just like wondering, who are these elders that say they are already committed to Tinubu's 2027 presidential election? They should tell us one thing the Tinubu's government has done for the Igbos. Tell us one thing that the Tinubu's government has done for the Igbos. One thing. That he wants the Igbos to support him. Sometimes I begin to wonder, who are these leaders? Who are these persons? Why are they not mentioning names? Who are these elders that have come out to say Tinubu should come back second term? They will not allow you to talk. They will not allow you to express yourself. This country is just something else. Anyway, let 2027 come. Let me know if it's the Igbo leaders that will make Tinubu a leader in this country. Let me know your thoughts about this video in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.